Have you ever had a negative emotion come up to the surface during a breathwork session? Well, if you have, I'm going to explain to you in this really short video exactly what to do and how to actually process that. So, number one, during intense breathwork sessions, longer sessions, emotions can arise. Tension, stress, anger, some of those negative things that get lodged in the body over time. And what happens is it gets repressed and it somatically in the body becomes a source of strain, stress, could be muscle knots, back pain, a whole host of different things that could happen. So when you feel those negative emotions rise in a breathwork session, most of the gurus out there on YouTube aren't going to tell you what to do with that. They're going to leave it at, hey, these emotions are going to come up and you're going to process them. Well, that's not exactly true. You're not exactly processing them unless you actually intend and focus on processing them. So what do? Well, there's a concept and a practice that I learned through a guy named Scott Britton in his spiritualist in his book Conscious Accomplishment. He's also a very successful entrepreneur. And through a modern Chinese esoteric mystical system called Renzu, which is based upon ancient Chinese mysticism just made for current times. But what you do during this practice when these emotions come up, you do a process called conscious repatterning or self repatterning, where you focus on that feeling in your body and you ask your higher self and your true self, what are the patterns that arise from this feeling? What are the thoughts? What are the body sensations? And what are all of those different things? But ultimately, what you're going to ask your true self in that situation during that breath work when those emotions arise is, hey, higher self, hey, true self, what is the core thing with this problem? Why is it here? Why is it embedded in my body? Why is it embedded in my system? Why does it make me feel bad? Why does it generate this negative emotion? Where did this arise in my childhood? Because most of these things happen to us traumatically in childhood and they become repressed and we believe that they're part of us, but they're actually not. If you've ever heard the term shadow by Carl Jung, that's what that is. That's part of your shadow. Repressed negative feelings and emotions that get lodged in the body as negative energy. And when we do our breath work, it comes to the surface. But then what do? You don't just leave it alone. You have to process it through conscious repatterning and self repatterning. And if you can do that during your breathwork session, during an exhale hold or an inhale hold, it works. And what you find is these things come to the surface, and then later on during the day, you just get an answer for it, and it begins to relieve and go away. And you've processed that thing, and you're not going to have to deal with it getting you in those negative states like it did in the past. Hope this helped. Follow. I'm going to have some guided breath work introducing the repatterning process in it. So follow, subscribe, hit that bell. And I'm going to post that soon by the end of this week so you can actually start doing the breath work and then relieving some of those emotions that have been stuck somatically in your body. Good luck.